another version of the Wayne murders. This shit's like the Titanic, baby!
Welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host, Tia Ayer. 10 ultra-psychotic and gruesome acts done by Harley Quinn. The queen of crime, Harley Quinn did not get the moniker just by chance. Sure, her romantic partner, the Joker, has many psychotic acts under his belt, but good old Harley is no less. Harley Quinn has been unpredictable ever since her first appearance in Batman the Animated Series, and you can never guess what she will do next. When she joined the DC Universe in 1999, her erratic attitude was further embodied in the comic books. The clown princess of crime's actual nature is that of a villain, despite the fact that she has become more of a hero since being freed from the Joker. She has carried out several crimes on her own. Harley has demonstrated throughout her past that she is capable of both good deeds and chaos making. Her ledger contains a lot of blood. Her dark past includes everything from the unexpected to the truly unsettling and cruel. Here are the top 10 worst acts committed by Harley Quinn. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Biting off Joker's lip and breaking up with him. This is a hard one because Suicide Squad issue 15 included a scene that is extremely similar to this one, but since the one has a little more weight to it, we'll keep it on the list instead of to the prior. The I'm definitely finished with the Joker scenes appear to be the common occurrence for Harley, but the one in the comic series Harley Quinn issue number 25 did feel a little more plausible than most others. In this chapter, Harley infiltrates Arkham Asylum and makes her way to the Joker's prison cell, where they engage in combat. The Joker tries to exert his power as he always has in their toxic and turbulent relationship, all over again during the confrontation, but Harley was having none of it this time around. She goes to his cell to speak to him and let him know that she has moved on, but the Joker provokes her and the two of them begin to fight. When he attempts to kiss her forcibly, Harley not only beats him up but also bites off a part of his lip. The reason this is on our list is because she brazenly damaged the one thing he probably cares about, his iconic and fear-inducing smile. She informs him that she is done with him and she finds him disgusting. As she has done in the past, she goes one step further and places a gun to his head once more, but this time she says that she finally gets why Batman never just murdered him all of these years. If he was killed, he would receive exactly what he desired. And although Harley was broken up with Joker before, this is one of those rare instances when she has actually managed to retaliate against the Joker for once, which made it resonate brilliantly. Stealing the Joker's face, putting it on Deadshot, and then making out with it. Okay, this one definitely needs some explanation. In Suicide Squad issue 6 to 7's Hunt for Harley Quinn, Harley learned of the Joker's purported demise and made the decision to leave the Suicide Squad in order to cope with the information. We learned about her new 52 beginning as her colleagues pursues her along the way. While she tries to get away from them, the Gotham City police detained Harley at the conclusion of Suicide Squad number 6, but we know that she actually attempted to obtain the final remaining piece of the Joker, his face, which was in possession of the GCPD. If you recall, at the time, the Joker had his kisser removed as a part of a complex scheme to have Batman and the police in Gotham City believe that he had kicked the bucket. The Joker wasn't really dead, though. He had simply instructed the doll maker to remove his face as a joke and was in hiding. As a result, it appeared that he allowed the GCPD to discover his severed facial flesh while he was recuperating so that it could be kept in storage until he needed it again. If it wasn't psychotic enough to look for your ex's face, a literal piece of flayed skin, after he has supposedly died, things get even crazier once she actually acquires it. She catches her teammate Deadshot and ultimately gets her hand on the face in Suicide Squad issue number 7. Then, in an insane move, she bizarrely puts the Joker's face on the restrained Deadshot, making him wear it, and sits on him while speaking to him as though he were the Joker. She takes it even further by straddling him and making out with Deadshot while he wears Joker's skin as a mask before he shoots her in the stomach. It is extremely twisted and quite gruesome. Killing hundreds of kids. Killing innocent children is bad. There is no debate about that. Harley Quinn once killed a whole bunch of them. Horrified? Here's how it happened. Issue number 23.2 of Detective Comics, and came before the Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner Harley Quinn series. Given that Harley featured in this comic by Matt Kent and Neil Goog did not resemble the Harley who would appear in the ongoing series, this was, to put it mildly, a strange choice at the time. However, looking back, it gave us one of the darkest and most troubled versions of Harley. Following the crime syndication invasion of Earth, Harley must deal with her abrupt release from the Suicide Squad in this special issue. Harley discusses the need to compartmentalize and then seal off some parts of oneself throughout the entire issue. But Harley Quinn Quinzel, her psychiatrist self, is attempting to come out a little. As a result, Harley closes that box using a scheme that entailed giving away free video games to a group of kids, and then at the conclusion of the comic issue, activating a game update that turned the kids' game into little bombs. Harley doesn't respond as they detonate all over Gotham. She merely places it in a box. Cold-hearted, psychotic, and just plain old crazy, if you ask me. It does not get much more gruesome than a comic where Harley kills a whole bunch of helpless kids. The Clown Princess's iteration as a child killer is very different from how the DCEU portrayed her. Bubbly and childlike, yet ruthless, she is arguably at her most vile, cruel, and unlikable in this iteration, and this is also one of the largest mass killings that she has ever carried out. Traumatizing children and turning them into child soldiers. Already having a bad reputation with kids, Harley Quinn seems to really hate them. I mean, many of us don't particularly like kids, but Harley takes it to a whole new level. She not only used explosive video games to kill a number of kids, like in the story I just told you, but she frequently assisted Joker in his attempts to kill a number of young Robins. However, things turn ugly on Suicide Squad, where Harley Quinn turns kidnapped members of a terrorist group into the very child soldiers the group desired to create themselves by using them as tools for her escape. This is how the sick situation panned out. She was being kept captive in an organization that had also kidnapped several children in order to turn them into an army. Harley first traumatized the kids by brutally killing a guard in front of them, smearing blood all over herself and the cell walls as the kids stared on in utter terror rather than shielding them from a life of violence. She didn't stop there, though. She later exploited them to escape, forcing the youngsters to kill the guards and the rest of the gang in order to get out and find freedom. Harley obviously turned these kids into murderers rather than having them struggle for their protection, since the killers weren't pretty either. One would think that Harley would have protected the kids and fought on their behalf, but no. The Clown Princess of Crime chose to use them as her personal henchmen and introduced them into a world of crime, knowing as a psychiatrist how tough it would be for them to ever lead normal lives again. Slitting Joker's throat at their grand wedding. This one is interesting. You're probably confused about where she did this and why this isn't widely known. Well, this is because this scene took place in a video game and not in the more widely known comics, TV shows, or movies. The entertaining video game Injustice: Gods Among Us is an action and fighting game. Every character in fighting games typically has a unique conclusion, and Harley Quinn's finale features a moment that will make you go WTF. It is no secret that she has been in a toxic and often violent relationship for years. She has been physically, emotionally, and mentally assaulted, frequently left for dead, degraded, bullied, and broken. Despite all of this, she persisted because she could not get rid of the unfathomable feeling of love that she felt for her abuser. However, she is finally driven over the edge in this version of events that play out in her ending. After defeating Superman, Harley gains renewed confidence in the Injustice character ending, and she summons the Joker so that she can finally exchange vows with him in a ceremony that ignites Gotham. Most likely, this is meant to be interpreted literally. Joker smashes her face into the wedding cake at the reception, and Harley cuts his throat with the ceremonial knife itself in retaliation, because baked goods covered in delicious frosting are the kind of thing that will send you over the edge. Harley Quinn went to great lengths to prepare this extravagant wedding, which would have consumed lots of money and time, only for it to turn out to be a hoax. The fact that she finally snapped and cut the throat of the man that she was savagely devoted to for a major chunk of her life truly makes this an iconic Harley psychotic moment and worthy of a mention in this list. Over the years, the Joker has driven Harley to her limit and beyond. This climatic act of violence is a fitting conclusion to their perverted romance. Getting banned from hell. The Queen of Crime isn't immune to death, and Harley Quinn evidently dies in Harley Quinn issue number 19. Then in Harley Quinn issue 20 to 22, by Carl Kessel, Dan Davis, and Brandon Bordeaux, we witness Harley Quinn go to hell. It goes without saying that hell is typically the place where wicked and cruel individuals go to experience eternal damnation for the sins that they have committed while on Earth. One would be shocked if a resident of hell were expelled for misbehaving. I mean, as far as I know, it is chaos down there. However, exactly, this occurred with Harley Quinn. She was dismissed because she was so disruptive and obtrusive. Being thrown to hell is horrible enough, but being banished from hell for misbehavior is even worse. She is initially caught in a gunfight between the police and all of her erstwhile subordinates, who have since died, but she eventually manages to evade the punishment that has been imposed on her. Now that she was free in hell, Ulysses Highwater, the Devil's personal bounty hunter, started looking for her. Harley soon realized that Highwater was considerably more preoccupied with hunting down someone entirely different in hell than he was with Harley. He sought out the person who had corrupted his son in the 19th century during his own time. In fact, his son and this man were still together, but they weren't in hell. After successfully upsetting him and his antiquated views, continues, Harley ultimately creates enough havoc to be expelled from Hell. She was probably the only person who was too bothersome for the rulers of Hell to keep dead. She was swiftly returned to the land of the living. Hell wanted nothing to do with her, and she became Gotham City's headache once again. Killing DC's version of Thanos' Mighty Manos. Harley Quinn and Power Girl team up in Harley Quinn number 12 by Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, and John Timms, where they battle the Clock King and the Sportsmaster while being transported into space. They discover that a potent infinity ring is the only way that they would be able to return home on their own, but the powerful Manos has amassed the infinity rings, and his ultimate goal is to use them to exterminate all life on Earth. This is a pretty hidden allusion to Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet in case you missed it. Harley and Power Girl are forced to venture all the way to Manos, knowing that the request they had would probably not be granted by him, thus realizing that words would not be worth it. With a genocidal megalomaniac, the Queen of Crime chose a different route. Harley was able to pickpocket Manos' infinity rings and put them on her own self while she preoccupied them with trying to kill the two of them. She didn't realize how strong they were or how to actually use them, so she unintentionally exploited their strength to destroy their adversary. It was now too late for him to strike any sort of deal or even for Power Girl to prosecute him for eradicating the planet. Harley delivered it to her usual crazy style, demonstrating that sometimes superpowers aren't even required to defeat cosmic bad guys like Thanos or Manos. While this wasn't intentional, it definitely shows her psychotic side because, well, who in their right mind would steal from an almost all-powerful cosmic villain who loved massacring entire races? Seems like a Harley-like thing to do, to be honest. Starting her own bad advice newspaper column by having Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy travel to Metropolis in Harley Quinn number 14 by Kiesel and artists Terry and Rachel Dotson. Carl Kiesel made a comeback to his former literary stomping grounds in an excellent sequence of issues in Harley's first regular series. Of course, the duo commits crimes while they are there, but more interestingly, Harley plays Holly's Chance, an advice columnist, and gets some help from Ivy to convince Perry White to give her the job in order to amuse herself. While her murky morals, sinister past, and comedic viewpoint, Harley Quinn is one of the most fascinating characters in contemporary comics. Her storylines have a distinct flavor that transcends all forms of media. Even though the character is amusing, it would be a mistake to give her a newspaper column. Perry White, however, did precisely this when Harley used her column to provide odd nuggets of advice. Harley, as Holly frequently, offers outrageous but always humorous advice. She had promised to kill Jimmy Olsen earlier in the series, so it is particularly amusing to see her become friends with him while she works at the Daily Planet. He is fortunate in that he doesn't know that Holly was actually Harley, so he is unaware of the danger that he is in as he pursues the new columnist in hopes of a romantic entanglement. All in all, it is safe to say that dishing out bad advice simply for the heck of it is not the behavior of a normal human being. It can only be the product of a disturbed mind like that of Harleen Quinzel. I mean, just imagine if anyone at all took her advice seriously, the kind of chaos it would cause. Choosing Joker over Poison Ivy. After leaving the Joker for good, we have seen Harley find love once again, this time in a much more stable and healthy relationship with another one of the Gotham City Sirens, Ivy. Her relationship with Ivy has also been extensively explored in the web series titled Harley Quinn, which has just begun releasing new episodes for its third season. Fans have come to love these two together. However, the comic Gotham City Sirens showed a slightly different story. In the continuing comic series Gotham City Sirens, Catwoman tries to follow in the footsteps of Harlequin and Poison Ivy by helping them atone for their previous crimes. The three ladies made an effort to embody heroes. However, things took a gloomy turn as the novel was coming to a close. In issue 21 of Gotham City Sirens, Harley enters Arkham Asylum completely prepared to kill the Joker. Even though that she dwells on the terrible memories that she has of their interactions together, he ultimately has too much power over her mind. She eventually caves, deciding to team up with the Joker and free him from Arkham by inciting a riot and running away, murdering many innocent guards in the process. When Poison Ivy comes face to face with Harley and challenges her to pick between the Joker and her, Harley disappointingly chooses Mishta J. After everything that she has done, it was painful to see Harley's only chance at redemption just wasted. At least Harley's choices are much better in the most recent web series, where we see a blooming romance between the two queens of crime. However, there is always the looming fear that she will somehow be reeled back into the Joker's web of manipulation and exploitation because of the tumultuous history that they share. torturing Tim Drake. Clearly not the best with kids, Harley tortured little Tim Drake at one point, obviously at the behest of her insane lover, the Joker. The fact is that the Joker has tortured more than one Robin with the aid of Harley Quinn. As far as Tim Drake is concerned, he is tortured and brainwashed by the Joker with the help of the Clown Princess in Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, turning the boy wonder into a distorted imitation of their kid. What happened to little Tim, you ask? Turns out that Tim had been residing as Joker and Harley's adopted kid while they had been enjoying a bizarre suburban fantasy in Arkham. But it soon became clear that Tim had been both physically and psychologically abused and indoctrinated into the dark side, because we see him emerge from the shadows like a miniature Joker who is mute except for a nervous and downright frightening laugh. In flashbacks, we learn that Harley does express regret for what she did, and that the Joker has victimized her so much that just as everyone else. In any case, it remains one of Harley's bloodiest and most remorseful violent deeds of her past. Very little compares to torturing a little kid and completely brainwashing one. It is evil no matter how you look at it. With that, we come to the end of this insane list revolving around Harley Quinn. Are there any other gruesome acts perpetrated by the Queen of Crime that made you physically recoil in horror? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for waiting, you fucking dildos! I'll take the stairs.